Hi there everybody, Jack here again at the Vinyl Voyage. So at the moment outside my house it's absolutely pouring down with rain. Typical Scottish weather, January weather, it's horrible outside. So there's nothing I love more when it's like that than spinning some records. I've been playing records all afternoon and I thought I'll put them together, make a video. So today I've been listening to a lot of singer-songwriter stuff, one of my kind of favourite genres of music. When I started putting together ideas for the video, I was pulling singer-songwriters from the 90s, modern stuff from their heyday in the 70s, and it was just all too much to cover. So I thought I'll narrow it down, start with the 70s, and show you some of my favourite albums from singer-songwriters from that time period. So without further ado then, I'll get straight into it. First one I'd like to show you then is this one, which is Jimmy Campbell's album. So I'm a big fan of Jimmy Campbell. He's a singer-songwriter out of Liverpool. This album came out in 1972. It's on Philips. Jimmy Campbell, I think he started off in a band called the 23rd Turnoff, part of the psychedelic scene in the UK in the 60s. He did an album called Half Baked on Vertical Records in 1970, which is absolutely fantastic album. Then he went back to working in the band format with a band called Rockin' Horse in 71, and this is his album from 72. So this one, kind of like Half Baked, it's quite melancholic, kind of sad sounding songs, lots of nice intricate finger picking guitar, but with that kind of like sad tinge to them. And I also think there's almost like a little bit of Ray Davies and the kind of Englishness of his kind of psychedelic folk. But some of the songs on here that are brilliant, you know, it's got to be like a kind of English sounding album with a song like Salvation Army Citadel, or Parachute in Paris makes mention to some of London's different tube stations. But yeah, really good album. I think it's got a really naff cover. It doesn't, and my cover's quite rough, but the vinyl itself's in great nick. Pretty rare this one, so I was really lucky to get a hold of it at all. I'd love to pick up more of his stuff. Half Baked's the one I'm really after, a nice UK vertigo of that. But yeah, that's my first one. Next up then, one of my favourite singer-songwriters of all time, and probably my favourite of his albums. This is Leonard Cohen's fourth album, New Skin for the Old Ceremony. And yeah, just an absolutely brilliant album. I love the cover as well, it looks really cool. But Is This What You Wanted? I love the opening track. Is this what you wanted, to live in a house that's haunted by the ghost of me and you? Brilliant lyrics. Chelsea Hotel, like one of his biggest songs, and Who by Fire as well. It's got some cracking songs on here. I think, you know, what maybe sets this aside from some of his other earlier albums, things like the Songs of Leonard Cohen, which is obviously a fantastic album as well. This has got a bit more of a fuller sound, so there's a lot more musical accompaniment with different session players playing trombone, different types of percussion, banjo and mandolin, so it's a bit of a fuller sound. But yeah, absolutely brilliant album. Love Leonard Cohen. Next then is another kind of psych folk album. This is a bit of a cult one from Gary Higgins called Red Hash. I think this is from 1971 as well. Originally this is a reissue on Drag City. So like I said, kind of psych folk, but you know, it's got some great songs on here again. Probably the most famous ones, Thicker Than a Smoky. I think Gary Higgins was kind of rediscovered through the psych folk band Six Organs of Admittance, and I think he started playing with them again, and this kind of album's been rediscovered. But I think, you know, he seemed to have quite a lot of misfortune at the time of releasing this. I believe that Gary Higgins got busted on a marijuana charge and ended up in jail for 2 years and kind of sunk into obscurity afterwards. I think he came out after his 2 years, released another album, and he never got anywhere with it. But yeah, this is really fantastic. If you like psych, folk type stuff, this is really good. Kind of chilled out, dreamy kind of acoustic guitar ballads with kind of psyche lyrics, and yeah, it's really cool. Next up then, another one of my favourite singer-songwriters. So I've tried to mix in some of my kind of main favourites with some kind of rarer stuff. But yeah, John Prine's first album. And I think this is a UK first press. I think this is 71 as well. A lot of the albums that I show are from 71 or 73. The Cohen one was 74. But yeah, this is on Atlantic. And probably push comes to shove, I know that his first three albums are all absolutely brilliant, but this is probably my favourite John Prine album. I really like Bruised Orange as well, one of his later ones. But you know, Illegal Smile, which kicks off the album. I know a lot of people say that that's about smoking marijuana, but I know that Prine himself said that Illegal Smile was more about the way that he looked at the world, and it was his little smile about how he kind of seen things differently from everyone else. Hello in there, brilliant song as well, about ageing and growing old. And then Sam Stone, probably one of the best songs about PTSD there is, all about a veteran who turns to heroin or morphine to kind of help him through his PTSD. And there's that famous line in the song, there's a hole in Daddy's arm where all the money goes. But yeah, loads of great songs on here. But yeah, love John Prine. What have we got next then? Oh, another classic. Love Joni Mitchell as well. And again, push come to shove, this would be my favourite Joni Mitchell album on Reprise Records, Blue. I love Case of You, is a great song. California. I love I can't remember the name of the instrument that she kind of uses predominantly. It's not really so much on the acoustic guitar. It's almost like a little small harp, but I can't remember the name of it. But yeah, yeah, such a good album. River as well is a great song. But yeah. Let's see. Next, I've got Colin Blunston, who's the singer with the Zombies. This is on Epic Records, again from 1971. Yeah, just another fantastic singer-songwriter album. She Loves the Way They Move Her. Good song, Misty Roses. It's almost got like little jazzy kind of inflections to it, but much like Odyssey and Oracle, you can just hear the quality of Blunston's songwriting. It just massively shines through, and even if you take away all the orchestration, it kind of, and all those flourishes that add to the album, the core of the songs are just perfect. Let Me Come Closer to You, I Can't Live Without You. Yeah, if you've not heard this and you like singer-songwriter type stuff, especially English singer-songwriters, this is a fantastic album. 1 Year. Another one of my favourites would be John Cale's Paris 1919. I like a lot of the early John Cale albums. I like Vintage Violence as well. It's a really good album, but yeah, this would be my favourite. Child's Christmas in Wales, Hanky Pank, Know How, Andalusia, Graham Greene. Just that kind of mixture of kind of John Cale's jaunty piano playing, and there's viola on some of the songs, obviously played in the Velvet Underground. Yeah, just another absolutely brilliant album. In fact, I was actually kind of obsessed with this album when I first heard it. I was a massive Velvet Underground fan, but I hadn't really, other than Vintage Violence, I hadn't really explored John Cale so much. But then when I heard this, I just listened to it non-stop for a couple of years. I just had it on all the time. But yeah, still listen to it. It was great album, again on Reprise Records from 73. Is it 73? Yeah, 1973. Next one then is Songs for Beginners by Graham Nash, and this is on Atlantic. I think it's see that Atlantic Plum UK first press. Really like Graham Nash. So good, and this is a brilliant album. Military Madness is a fantastic song. Better Days, Simple Man. Yeah, Simple Man is probably my favourite on here, but yeah, again, just like a kind of really English sounding singer-songwriter album with lovely guitar and some of the other orchestration that goes along with this is just brilliant as well. It's really poppy. I believe it's kind of a wee bit of a breakup album, because I think he recorded this not long after he'd broke up with Joni Mitchell. But yeah, there's loads of other players on here as well, like I think all the Crosby, Stills and Nash pretty much help out. I know Neil Young's on it, Crosby's on it. There's loads and loads of different well-known players who kind of come in and help Graham Nash out on this one. And then I suppose to follow that one up, another one of my favourite singer-songwriters, it's David Crosby himself. I think all four of Crosby, Stills and Nash and Young all released big albums around 1970, 1971. So, you know, like Graham Nash had Songs for Beginners. David Crosby had this, I Can Only, If I Could Only Remember My Name. Neil Young had After the Gold Rush, and Stephen Stills had his self-titled debut. So like four big albums that came out of that group off of the back of their Deja Vu album. But yeah, this is excellent as well. And we were talking about all those different players that play on Nash's album. This is a UK first press as well, but if you look in here and you can see that Joni Mitchell's on there, Jorma Cohen from Jefferson Airplane. Let's see who else. Yeah, it's just fantastic. Really good. Yeah, David Mitchell. Sorry, Joni Mitchell, Grace Slick. Who else is Paul Kantner from Jefferson Airplane. Jerry Garcia and Jack Cassidy from Grateful Dead. David Freiberg. Is that the guy, I think, from, is he from Quicksilver Messenger Service? Yeah. Yeah, it's just such a cracking vibe to this album. Really cool. Again, probably one of these albums that not many of it, I think there was 2 singles taken from it, but the individual songs don't really stand out. Again, it's just like kind of overall vibe. Probably Music Is Love is the most kind of traditionally structured song. A lot of it's more like kind of free flowing and improvisation, but yeah, really nice stuff. And to finish up with then, another kind of lesser known one. This is really good. Emmett Finley's self-titled, I say his debut, but it's his only album. This is on Big Potato Records. It's a reissue. I think it was released again in 1971. But this, probably the closest I could describe this to like another artist would probably be, there's some of the songs have got elements of Neil Young. The first song, So Easy, kind of sounds a bit Neil Young-esque, but again, it's kind of intricate, finger-picking guitar kind of solos. But then there's other parts to it that sound, there's almost parts that sound a little bit Beatlesy. There's a song on side 2 called Sky King, which was initially meant to be, the lead guitar was meant to have been played by Jimi Hendrix. He was a pal of Hendrix. Hendrix flew off to London to play in some sessions and never ended up playing on this. And you just wonder if Hendrix had played on it, whether Emmett Finley would have received kind of more recognition and acclaim, because he released this album then pretty much disappeared into obscurity. But one of the other great things about this album is if you listen to it now, you listen to some singer-songwriter stuff and it kind of sounds dated, or it sounds of its time, whereas this doesn't. This could have been recorded in the last year, but the production sounds so up to date, and yeah, it's really good. There's a song on here, Gospel, which has like a real gospel vibe to it. He brought in 3 gospel singers, so it's like just short of 8 minutes, that song, but the way it builds is so amazing. Monster's a really good song on side 2 as well. But yeah, if you like kind of singer-songwriter, kind of loner type, almost, it's unfair to say that it sounds just like Neil Young, because there is elements that sound like Neil Young, but it's definitely a kind of, yeah, well-produced record in its own right. It's not just Emmett Finley and his guitar. So yeah, definitely recommend having a listen to this if you like singer-songwriter type stuff. So that's it for tonight for the singer-songwriters. Love putting this video together. I love listening to singer-songwriter music. The only problem I had with this is I've got loads of it, and there's loads of other stuff that I'd have liked to have shown. I wanted to do, like I said, like a little mix of some well-known ones and maybe some that weren't so well-known. And I think if I come to do it again, I'll maybe do another 70s one, or show some singer-songwriters from other time periods, because obviously there's great stuff that came out in the 60s. I know the 70s was the heyday of the singer-songwriter, but also great stuff that came out in the 80s, 90s, right up till today. So maybe do something a little bit different the next time. Anyway, thanks for watching and see you next time.